Peterborough's Talk Sports Radio, Extra 90.5. This is the regular Jordan Mercier here alongside Colin Teskey. In less than 10 minutes, Suzanne Galloway of the Yes Shelter for Youth and Families will join us. There is a big Christmas concert coming up this weekend. It's entitled In From the Cold. It'll be taking place at Market Hall. It is the 17th edition of that particular project. Pretty outstanding longevity, and the funds are critical for all the services provided by the Yes Shelter for Youth and Families. So we will talk to Suzanne Galloway, who is the executive director of that, coming up in less than 10 minutes. Hey, if you haven't already, be sure to sign up for our daily digital edition. It's fast, it's easy, it's sent right to you each and every morning. You can log on to extrapeterborough.ca to get more information. Just click the tab and sign up for our daily digital edition. Again, log on to extrapeterborough.ca for complete details. Colin, have you checked out the new app that is turning everyone's head? And
I have seen this, yes.
If you're a traveler, if you're a business person, if you are single, this is going to be one you're going to want to take note of. It's a new app. It's being called the Tinder for Air Travel, and I believe it's going to be called the Mile High app.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice.
And what it is Air Dates, the world's first in-flight dating app, which is still being tested, encourages users to upload their travel itinerary so they can arrange to get together with passengers on their flight, such as at the airport or on the plane for some mile-high action.
See, this is something I thought Tinder could have created in-house. Like, if they had some type of setting where on the app you could like suggest that you were traveling and you could actually punch in the places you were going to be. Instead, this app, I think, is so smart because sometimes you'll go on Tinder and you'll be going to a different place. You'll be flying somewhere or driving somewhere. You'll get to a different town. You'll get some matches. You'll chat with some local singles. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, wait, you're not from here. You're just traveling. And then the conversation ends. This is specifically made for travelers. So I think it's a genius idea. And think about your situation in Hawaii. You were stuck for hours. I would love to just kill some time chatting up singles who are in the same boat as me and who might, want to hang, want to have a little fling. You never know.
Well, let us know what you think. Hit us up on Twitter at ExtraPTBO. Like us on Facebook, too. That's at facebook.com/extra905FM. It is Wednesday, so that means it's time to hand out the regulars' weekly report cards.
You don't like my policies, you can just come on down here and smooch my big old white butt. Pucker up, Buttercup.
Hey, what is going on here?
Yeah, I'm registered in this class.
What class?
This is U.S. history. See the globe right there.
Back to school to prove to Dad that I'm not a fool.
Impressive as always, Colin.
Great, that production. This is something that I had to put out there. I was a little insecure about it. How's that production?
That was pretty good.
There we go.
You touched all the bases with the Billy Madison, the Saved by the Bell.
What
else was in there?
Try to find a producer that could mix in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Saved by the Bell, or Billy Madison, and Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Find a producer that could do that and do that in a timely manner. I don't think you could find that.
How this works, each and every Wednesday, we throw out some of the bigger topics from around, not necessarily the world of sports, also pop culture working its way in there as well, and we give it a grade. All right, our first topic, Colin. The Red Sox acquired Chris Sale yesterday, and now features Sale, David Price, and Rick Porcello. Grade that trio.
Well, grade the trio. Well, I think Rick Porcello, he's going to come crashing down to earth next year. I think this guy overproduced last year, and he won a Cy Young. Good for him, but I don't think they're going to get nearly that production from him next year. I look at David Price, and Jays fans were mad when he signed with Boston, but I'm telling you right now, he's pitched like 700 innings the last 3 years. David Price is not going to be the elite ace that Boston originally signed for that long of a term. So they needed to go out and get Chris Sale because I felt like their rotation was never really that good, never really that competitive, and it wasn't going to be competitive next year. So I'm going to grade this move an B+ because they really needed to do it because Chris Sale is lights out. He's a dominant pitcher in today's game, but I don't think Porcello and Price are going to be necessarily what people think next year.
On the surface, this is an A-plus upgrade. But overall, I say it's a C. Now, why is it a C? The reason this trio is a combined 2-11 in the playoffs, with an ERA over 5.5. It may get you to October, but that's not what Red Sox fans are interested in. Plus, they had to part with one of their top prospects, Moncada. I say it's a C.
Well, we're going to stay with baseball. Orioles manager Buck Showalter told MLB Network that his cameo on Seinfeld still costs him money. Grade that career decision by Buck Showalter showing up on Seinfeld.
Okay, so this jumped out to me. Buck Showalter, he revealed it actually costs him $19 every time The Chaperone, which was an episode from 1994, airs because he owes a tax to the Screen Actors Guild, a union he had to join in order to appear in the episode. He still makes millions of dollars, and that episode made him a name outside of just New York City. I say that's a B-plus cameo.
I'm also going to give him a B-plus as well, because when I watched that episode as a young Seinfeld fan, I didn't necessarily know who Buck Showalter was. At that age, it was all hockey for me. I knew every hockey player, every coach, every general manager. I didn't necessarily know the other big figures in professional sports, and that was kind of my first introduction to Buck Showalter and to baseball, so I'm going to give him a B-plus.
A report surfaced yesterday claiming both the Spurs and the Warriors tried to move up in the 2011 draft to take Raptors star Jonas Valanciunas. Grade his career so far.
Oh, this is going to be tough, because when he was drafted, the center position was still a valued position. Right now, the center just doesn't carry as much weight as it used to, right? I mean, so I'm going to say he's been a fine player. He's had some health issues, but I'm going to say B-minus. B-minus.
I'm going to go slightly higher. He's averaging a career-high 9.4 boards so far this season. He's never really taken off as much of a low-post threat as I thought he was going to be. Let's face it, he's never going to be a guy who gets you 18 or 19 a night, but he does play decent defense, and I do believe he could start on a championship team as a mucker in sort of that Dennis Rodman category. So for that, I would say he was a good draft pick, and he has been a B to this point. We're doing our weekly report card here on the Regulars. It is 11:30. Jordan Mercier alongside Colin Teskey. Finally, ABC has announced Jimmy Kimmel will host the Oscars coming up. Grade that choice.
Look, there are so many choices now for late-night TV, and when I have to sit down, and if I do ever watch late-night TV, which is not much, if I ever do have to make that call, Jimmy Kimmel's my guy. I've watched Jimmy Kimmel since he was on Ben Stein's Money. Remember that show?
Oh, yeah.
I've watched him since, day one, so I kind of have an old affiliation with him. So I like anything Jimmy Kimmel does. I still think he does a really good job. I like his brand of humor, and I just like him as an interviewer, too. So I think this is a great choice for ABC.
I'm going to make this a B-minus choice.
I didn't even give a grade. I'm going to give him an A.
You're going to give an A for that choice?
Yeah.
I say B- because I can't really think of somebody else who I'd rather see than Jimmy Kimmel. But I know going into it, he'll play it pretty safe, so I don't expect anything innovative. But I do like that late-night guys are getting back in on the Oscars. Remember, Johnny Carson, he did it for many, many years. Letterman only ever did it once, and it did not go well. Leno never did it. What happened was the egos got too big for these guys, and the money got too tight. I like that Kimmel is getting back into that tradition, and when you compare him to Seth Meyers or Jimmy Fallon, I would say he's more your prototype for a late-night show host. Maybe Conan O'Brien, he's never quite caught on to the mainstream because now he's been buried over there on TBS. But I'm going to say it's a B- choice, and he's done the Emmys twice, so he's sort of worked his way up the pecking order.
By the way, I got to even change my grade on Jonas Valanciunas. I'm looking back to that 2011 draft, chosen after Jonas Valanciunas. He went 5th overall to the Raptors that year. Klay Thompson, 11. Kawhi Leonard, 15. Jimmy Butler, 30 to the Chicago Bulls. I got to change up my grade to a C+. When you compare Jonas Valanciunas to those three guys that I just mentioned, I give him a C+.
I'm still going to give him a B, although, yeah, I do acknowledge all three of those players are much better and much more established in their careers. But, of course, you highlighted it, too. A lot of that has to do with sort of turning away from the center position, which most teams do now. That is how we do the Extra 90.5 weekly